back to episode 4 of the Cinephiles app. How are we doing this morning, Ofili?
Honestly, I think this is the first time we're recording in the morning.
Yeah,
And
actually.
it's like, you know how it went. You told me to go back to bed.
Well,
You told me I need to get the sleep outside of my voice. So we're back.
But we're back again. It's been a while though. It's been like what? I don't know, 6 weeks.
Bro, it's been an ungodly amount of time, especially because in that time, I swear, like, I was just about to go to New York before our last episode.
Mm-hmm.
Then you randomly came to Chicago.
I did for work.
In both of those times, we did not record a single thing. I think, honestly, Barbie was still at like 200 million.
Yeah, I think so, which is so crazy. That's how long it's been.
That's how long it's been.
How long, bro.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, but we're back. It's not about how long, it's about how well. And we're back. And this episode is going to be a banger. You heard it here first.
I'm not going to lie. You were not cooking. That is not about how long, it's about how well. Brother, what are you doing?
What do you mean?
Not cooking. I know
it's not about how long it takes, bro. It's about how well the episode ends up being. You are not Drake,
bro. You are not quotable. It's okay.
Bro, it's not my fault you don't get it, bro.
It's okay.
I just wish you understood it. But those that get it.
Alright, those that get it. It's okay.
Anyway, how's your week, bro? Or your 6 weeks in that time frame? What have you been up to?
6 weeks in that time. Brother, I'm employed. We thank God.
Congratulations, bro.
We thank God. That is truly it. Anything apart from that, I've spiraled a couple of times, as you know. Oppenheimer sent me on a, mistake, Sloppenheimer, since they said I'm not allowed to say it. Well, I'll say it. But Sloppenheimer sent me on a bit of a spiral. And I think in general, like, life is moving. Where tomorrow is September.
Yeah, bro, this year is running. Outpacing itself for no reason.
Yeah.
What
about you? How you been?
I've been good, bro. A lot has happened, actually. I think I had mentioned on episode 1 that my parents were coming. Mm-hmm. So my parents came into town. It's been, bro, I haven't seen them in so long. They're so different now. It's been some time. And I got to take them around. So we were in New York, New Jersey. We did DC. DC was fun. And now they're in Houston. I'm going to go join them in a couple of days, actually. Well, nice. Other than that, in the past, I just want to say, I've obviously seen a lot of movies, but I've seen 3 Christopher Nolan movies in the past, like since we recorded, which is not crazy, right? It's just the fact that I saw 3, and like in the year before that, I probably haven't seen any. I think I've said it before in this pod that I'm not a big fan of his work like that. Like I'm not going to rate him as one of my favorite directors ever. The face you're giving right now.
That is true. No. I'm not trying to cook anything. It's just that I can't. I was like, if you didn't rate Nolan, who was your guy? Because I know Nolan was my guy.
Yeah. Nolan's your guy.
You were Fincher and Denis.
Yeah, Fincher and Denis Villeneuve. Those are my. So you can tell how excited I am for The Killer and Dune. Obviously.
Yeah, Fassbender.
But yeah, I saw 3 and it just got me thinking, like, I want to see everything that this man puts out, like anything he does, any work, because his work is so intentional, Like
what 3 did you watch?
Interstellar, Oppenheimer, Dunkirk.
Okay,
Interstellar was the only one I had seen before, so that was a rewatch, but I hadn't seen Dunkirk before.
You've never seen Dunkirk?
No.
Military propaganda is not your bag?
It's not my thing, bro.
Really? Mm-hmm. Bro, it's entertaining.
Yeah, the only one of those I actually liked was 1917. So
really, you don't like Top Gun?
Top Gun is not necessarily military propaganda. It's just America. It's America propaganda, bro. It's just pro like the American military industrial complex. That's what it is. Mm-hmm. Military, like I'm thinking war movies. That's what I'm thinking when you say military propaganda.
Yeah,
I'm not like that big. Like All Quiet at the Western Front was amazing. Like
no, that was anti-military. That was anti-military propaganda, bro.
Would you say that was anti-war
because it showed anti-military propaganda?
Because it showed the horrors of war, but it's still a war movie.
You saw 17-year-olds have their mental health decline like crazy in real time. I was like, they started the movie all like excited and like high-fiving, One guy like defrauded his parents to
Oh,
join.
to join the military, bro.
To,
But
bro.
yeah, no, and like Dunkirk, for me to say Dunkirk was not, and Dunkirk would be like a lot of directors' career highlight. I didn't think it was good. I didn't think it was that good. Rather, I think I gave it a 3.5 or 4 on Letterboxd. But like for that to be amongst the bottom of your filmography, like that just speaks to the level of genius that this man has. And obviously we'll talk about Oppenheimer more in this episode. But Interstellar again, like that would be easily be so many directors' best work ever and ever. But we're talking about the Dark Knight or Oppenheimer being like his
Dunkirk is one of your lowest ones for him, because for me, I think Dunkirk is in my top 3 easily.
How can Dunkirk be in your top 3?
Quite honestly, Dunkirk is in my top 3.
Should we take a pivot now and do a top 3, like compare top 3 for Nolan? Yeah.
I feel like I'm not trying to shit on you, but I've been following Nolan for a minute.
That's fine, bro. I've seen other stuff too.
I'm just letting you know. I'm not trying to shit on you. Okay.
Okay, bro.
No, you're the new guy, so give me your top 3. Give me your Nolan top 3, and maybe like a surprise top 4.
The new guy, guys. No way he called me. Okay. I said that because I actually thought about that when I finished Dunkirk. I thought about my ranking of the ones I had seen, and I couldn't settle on a top 3, or more specifically, I couldn't settle on number 3 spot. I think number 1 is still, I'm a superhero guy. I see all the MCU, all of that. So my number 1 is Dark Knight. I hate to be cliche. I hate to be that guy, but the Dark Knight is just there for me. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. So that's number 1. Number 2 is Oppenheimer.
Okay.
And again, we'll talk about that, but it's very rare. Because I'm in theaters a lot, right? You almost start to get numb to the feeling. Like, not numb, I still love going, but like, it's very rare for me to leave the theater and feel like, oh, my life has been changed. Like, this wasn't another Tuesday night, another Thursday night where I used my AMC Stubs A-list membership. This was actually a life-changing experience. Like, I felt very different from when I went into the theater, and that doesn't happen a lot.
You started texting me and you were like, bro, my life is different.
Yes, bro, I can't explain it. Like, it's just never going to be the same. I'm not the same person I was before, Oppie. And that's just a fact. So that's number 2 for me. I was struggling with number 3 because Interstellar also is one of my favorite movies of all time. But Inception, in a lot of ways, is one of the best films of this century. So it's just like, how do I pick a number 3? I think if I'm going with me, I went with Interstellar and I put Inception 4. Since you said top 3 and special shout out, my top 3 would be TDK, Oppenheimer, Interstellar, and Inception would be my special shout out.
Okay, so for me, number 1 would be Interstellar. Okay. Number 2 would be Dunkirk. Perfect. Number 3 would be Oppenheimer.
Okay. Bro.
Surprise number 4 would be The Prestige.
The Prestige is one I haven't seen. So for The Prestige and Memento, those are the 2 that I think from his filmography.
Now, this is very interesting. I think so. Ideally, Inception would be number 5, but I think Memento makes me like pull Inception down, kind of.
Because wait, why? Could you explain that?
Okay, it's kind of weird, but Inception draws a lot of inspiration from this anime called Paprika. And it's like an animated movie. And it's like trippy, it's about the dreams and everything. It was insane. But like, I watched that and I had randomly watched Memento. Then I watched Inception, and like, this was like a while ago. Like, this was...
Yeah.
I would love to say like around 2018.
Okay.
Yeah. Damn. So, and I watched Inception, and it just felt like, oh, okay, I can see like everything that was throwing people off and was like, oh, this is so amazing, this is so niche. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, like I can kind of see it because I've seen like having prior experience with Memento and Paprika.
Oh, yeah. I see what you mean. Okay.
Yeah, and someone just randomly put me on Paprika. It wasn't like, oh, like I'm not like that deep in the trenches of like animated movies and anime in general, but yeah. So I just like enjoyed it, but it kind of like pulled it down at the level of like, I guess what would be greatness.
Yeah, I
because
guess I need to see Memento and The Prestige to complete my
mhm,
Nolan marathon. But yeah, this is the most Nolan I've seen in a long time. So
honestly,
I,
even
al- I
I
also
kind of
did the Dark Knight marathon, so I guess that was three in a row as well. But since then, this is the longest I've seen.
did you ever
Most
watch
Nolan.
Tenet?
Yeah, I did. I didn't like it.
Bro,
I
you
think
didn't
we
like
had
it.
this conversation. No. I don't
I
like.
think I
That's
was.
the part of the reason why I don't like Dunkirk too. Like, there's a thing where, like, I get that his timelines are usually convoluted, and
Mm,
um, what most people would say confusing isn't really confusing. They're just not
it
paying
was not really
attention.
that confusing. Not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
they're just paying attention. But Dunkirk and Tenet, particularly, like, they stand out for me because I think, like, I started this by saying that he's very intentional. I think his intent, like, was to be confusing, as opposed to the others where it's just, oh, this is the storytelling, this is the form of storytelling. I think
Mhm.
he intended for Dunkirk and Tenet to be like interlapping and confusing, both visually and thematically, and so it's very hard for me to, like, just reconcile with that. I don't see the greatness. I just see overdo, as the Nigerians would say. Yeah.
No, I get that. I get
Yeah.
that. Um, okay, to pivot now into some of the first things on our agenda. I feel like we haven't been true to our nature, but I understand
Hmm.
we're only 4 episodes in. This is the fourth episode. Woohoo! Woohoo!
Yeah.
But we haven't hated on anything in a minute. I think the last thing that we hated on was like Nimona, and that was like more ethical.
Yeah, that was very ethical, not
Yeah, it
technical
was
at
more
all.
ethical hating because of like fuck Disney.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, fuck Disney. We support the strikes. Fuck the
Mm-hmm.
companies. Yeah, fuck the
Mm-hmm.
studios.
Fuck the
Except
studios.
Neon. We love Neon because Neon is the only one. Neon is the only one
I'm
to
glad you
have done
said
it.
Neon and not like A24 or something stupid, bro. I
No,
in
no, no,
love
I
with
don't think
Neon.
A24 has. I mean, they don't really. They're not like a big. They're not one of the biggies.
Yeah.
But Neon is one of the only big ones that have agreed to like the strikes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the strikes demands. And honestly, shout out to Neon because they gave us
Mm-hmm.
Old Boy.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Neon gave us
I
Old
think I
Boy.
told you, but I was meant to see the Old Boy remastered with the Q&A, but I missed
No,
out on
you're a
that.
liar. You're a liar.
What do you
Honestly,
mean I'm
you're
a
a liar.
liar? What do you mean I'm
Because
a
you did not
liar?
tell me. You started tweeting about it and you were crying. You were tweeting and crying. That was it. You didn't tell me.
Bro, I think it might still be showing because, again, that's another one. I think I'm exposing myself here, but I haven't seen Old Boy. Just to be fair,
Really?
I haven't seen a bunch of the older stuff, and Old Boy isn't even that old. I just haven't seen it. So
I
yeah,
think the thing is that I don't think I've seen Old Boy in adulthood. If you get what I
okay,
mean. Like
yeah.
I think I saw my cousin watching it and I just like latched on, you
Mm-hmm.
know. But like
Mm-hmm.
since I like really started like approaching film in like in a more intentional way, I don't think I've
Mm-hmm.
seen Old Boy, which like probably would change my experience of seeing it now than like when I was like
Exactly.
younger.
Yeah.
But they gave us Old Boy, and they gave us honestly one of my favorite films of last year, which is How to Blow Up a Pipeline, and that was a fun fucking time. And they're giving me
Yeah.
Ferrari in Christmas.
I saw all the tweets when they dropped the trailer yesterday. I just cannot be excited for Adam Driver in anything where he has to talk with an accent. I'm so sorry. I just can't. That's one. Two, I feel like that's just one. Two, I feel like movies that would be precursors, quote unquote, to this would be Ford versus Ferrari for obvious reasons and House
Mm,
of Gucci. And Ford versus Ferrari was exceptional, right? I saw it on the plane. It was very, very good,
this is
but
an amazing film.
not for the reasons that Adam Driver is good because he's a phenomenal performer, but
Mm-hmm.
not for the reasons. So I'm like overlaying House of Gucci with Ford versus Ferrari, and I can't see it being good, and it's like I'm just not excited. But the trailer hit though. I'll give it that, and the
Okay.
man too.
Should I
So,
tell you some other things that Neon is involved in?
bro, I know Neon. They did
I'm just
Parasite,
saying,
right?
in case the people
Yeah.
that don't know, Neon was involved in my lovely Triangle of Sadness. Lovely
Okay.
film. Um, they were also involved in distribution of Parasite, which,
Mm-hmm.
award winning. We'd love that.
Mm-hmm.
Another one of my favorite films, Spencer, because
Mm-hmm.
me and a good biopic, we are gonna sit down and watch it. Um, and Three Identical Strangers. I don't know if you ever watched that, but that was the one about like. Oh, also I, Tonya. I told
Oh,
you,
they did
another
I,
great
Tonya.
biopic.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Three Identical Strangers was the one where there was like these three triplets who,
Okay.
yeah, they met each other at college.
Mm-hmm.
They had never known about each other, but like some random
And they
guy
met
walked
in
up to him.
college.
Yeah, and a random guy walked up to him. I was like, "Oh yeah, you're back. I thought you weren't coming back." Blah 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 blah. And I was like, "I'm sorry, bro. This is my first time here." And I was like, "Oh, you got to meet this other guy. He looks exactly like you. Did a DNA test. Blah blah blah." And you could see it; they were identical.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
It's crazy.
And then they put an ad in the paper, and now a third guy pulls up. Yeah, and it's like, oh yeah, we're all siblings, and it's one of those like non-ethical like psychology studies
Oh,
where it's like,
okay.
yeah, nature versus nurture thing. You know, back
I
in the
see.
80s, they were doing a lot of weird things. I'm not gonna lie, but it was one of them nature versus nurture things, and like putting them in different environments and seeing
Yeah.
how like their life projection and all of that. But yeah, to pivot back, we haven't hated on anything in a minute.
Yeah. So what are you cooking?
I don't know what I'm cooking. I don't think there's anything I want to hate on because I haven't watched anything that has made me like slightly upset.
Okay.
Low key, I want to hate on Love Island real quick.
Love Island. This is
I'm
the
not gonna
cinema
lie.
out.
The
Love
last
Island
episode, I
doesn't.
know it's past time. It's
Love
past
Island is
time.
not cinema.
The last episode a bit weird, but we don't have to be snobs, you know. We don't have to. We watch other things. I know how much trashy TV you watch, bro. Like, do you know how much trashy TV people watch every day? Like, I
Bro,
told
go
you, like
on,
last
go on, do
episode, I
your
was
thing.
talking about
Do your
one of my
thing.
friends who watches Empire, and I'm like, Empire in 2023, the year of our Lord 2023. Ah, please now, come on.
Do your thing. Are you talking Love Island USA?
No, UK.
The
Yeah.
last season wasn't that good.
The last
Yeah.
episode of it was like whoever the nigga that won. I'm not gonna spoil it for niggas who haven't watched it because I know we have like quite a bit of American fan bases and like, you know, they watch things like a little bit differently, especially when it comes to Love Island. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Nah, we can
I
pick
want
up
to hate on
something to
that.
hate another time. Because my mind is blanking right now. I just hated on Dunkirk and Tenet, so I
I
think
don't
that's
think
my
you
quote
hate
for the
it.
day.
I just think it was just like you're just not that used to Nolan shit.
Okay.
Honestly, when you watch Memento, you're going to be like, oh,
I don't know why
confusing
you
timelines.
keep making it seem like I've never seen any of Nolan's works, bro.
No.
I have.
You have, but like, I'm not trying to like be snobby, but like you watched the superhero stuff. You watched the Batman Begins, Dark Knight Rises. It's like there's less creative freedom.
Yes.
Yeah, there's source material and there's less creative freedom in general. Like there's an expectation to like how he wants, you know, how things are going to be. But yeah, I want to hate on people right now, not projects actually. Can you imagine someone was shitting on me for saying I love Paddington and Paddington 2?
Those are exceptional. Those are really great. Why would anyone hate?
That is cinema, bro.
Wasn't Paddington like at some point the highest rated movie, or Paddington 2, sorry, the highest rated on
Paddington 2 was
IMDb or
at one point
something?
one of the highest rated movies on like Letterboxd and like IMDb, all of them things. But that's not what we're focusing on. We're focusing on the extreme amount of quality that Paddington 2 is. I think
people just don't get it.
The first time I watched Paddington, and I'm saying the first time because I've watched these movies multiple times, but the first time I watched Paddington, I was so tripped out by the visuals. The visuals were so good. There's one scene where it kind of looks like a dollhouse and blah blah blah, and like I thought I was tripping. But I was like, no, I'm not. But Paddington 2, watching that, I think that made me a better man. I think the person I am today is in part due to Paddington 2. Like, if you ever date me or we're in a relationship, just thank Paddington 2.
So you do understand that it's possible for a piece of art to change someone's life. So why are you confused by me being changed by Oppenheimer, bro?
I'm not doubting that, but Steve, you get changed by things like every 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Like, you get changed by great cinema like every 2 weeks.
Okay, bro. It's not
but like, it's okay. You can.
Cinema.
It's okay. You're in an upward trajectory. You know, you're a development junkie.
Yeah. I don't like the narrative that's being presented right now. Why am I being to be the learner, the sidekick, and you're the master guru at film?
I'm just saying, like, okay, I think people will be more okay.
My letterbox is there for
No,
itself.
no, no.
People
I
can
know
see.
your catalog is deep. Your catalog
Thank
is
you
deep.
very much.
But like, what I mean is that I feel like people would be more accepting of you of you being like inspired by things or your life being changed if it was a different form of media, which is another thing I hate. I hate that people have this like book superiority over film.
Oh,
I'm like, I'm so fucking sorry that I'm not getting inspired by 18th century Dostoevsky. Yeah. I'm
this
not
year is
reading Mohammed
crazy.
Darwish and like changing my view on love. What is going on?
Yeah.
Like, oh
Um.
yeah, I'm not reading Canterbury Tales. Yeah. I'm sorry, bro. I feel like if you took Oppenheimer back into, if you got Socrates to watch Oppenheimer or Plato, I'm telling
Mhm.
you, it would have been more impactful than Icarus' story. What? That Epic of Gilgamesh is done, is cooked.
The range, bro. Yeah, no. Mm-mm.
Nah.
Anyway, my life changed. That's all. Panity to change your life. Oppenheimer changed my life. I can live with that.
I think I would say that Oppenheimer did not like. It had a great effect on me. I love the movie. I genuinely watched it on like a random day that I was feeling bad, which I'm
Mm-hmm.
please telling anyone, if you haven't yet watched Oppenheimer, please do not watch it when you are feeling down. I am begging you. I am
Have to
begging you,
go in
please.
high spirits.
Please, you have to be on high spirits because you will spiral. Quite honestly, you will
I think
spiral.
you had a really strong reaction though. I don't think there's movies I watch and like I shouldn't have watched this feeling like this, but Oppenheimer, I
Mm,
don't know what it was that hit you like that because
mm.
I think your reaction to it was a lot stronger than most people. Like I was reading your write up after, and I'm like, we may have seen different films because I did not feel this way at all. I felt very ecstatic. You felt very down,
Yeah, it was. It
like
was.
broken, like
It was a
existential.
very. Yeah, it was existential. It was like an. It was a sense of overwhelming dread. Yeah, and it just made me think about like all the little like. So I have a lot of friends in engineering, and all these niggas
Mhm.
want to work in Lockheed Martin because that is who is paying. But I'm just, I'm just always thinking about like, I mean, I wasn't always thinking about it, but like now I'm just like, does Oppenheimer carry the same weight that Wolf of Wall Street does? If you get what I mean, in terms of like impacts to the community that's around. Because the way Wolf of Wall Street impacted the finance bros, they loved it. It inspired a new generation of finance bros. I can make this
Okay.
much money just like basically bullshitting niggas over the phone.
Okay.
Same
But
thing
it's
with
a
Oppenheimer. Like imagining the impact that you could have, ending wars, building massive weapons, blah blah blah. The greatness, like the celebration. I feel like people
I
have that, but the problem is that they are both cautionary tales, and I don't think people pay attention.
I think I think it's different. I think you're not comparing apples to apples here because Oppenheimer is set in the 40s. It's set a long
Yeah,
time ago,
yeah,
right? Wolf of Wall Street was way more recent. Like sure, it wasn't set in 2000 and whenever it came out, but it's more recent than that. So it's like the Wall Street was still active. It's still up and about. Like people could be
mm,
impacted into doing drugs off a woman or something like that. Like people could still do that on their lunch break while working on Wall Street. People can't
mm.
just walk up to Los Alamos and submit an application to build the next atomic bomb because that's already been done. Like, sure, it could influence people into, if we take the message from it, which is, what you just said, cautionary tales and ending wars and, not dropping bombs and random, if sure, like that, there could be there's room for it to have that sort of impact, but at the same time, it's come on, like
I think
that's not going to
like
impact
boil it.
anyone in power.
I think to boil it down to base level, what Oppenheimer makes me feel like is, um, because you can do something doesn't mean you should.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
hmm
Yeah. So let's take it away from like the higher level of like, oh, building bombs, but like, and more so it's like these regrets will haunt you.
hmm
And that's just how it
And
made
it's
me
not
feel
just the
like
bomb itself. It's it's his personal relationships.
it's
His
everything.
it's everything. His this, like you said, decisions will haunt you. The whole Communist Party thing coming back. Because what started as just casual hangouts on the campus.
Attending meetings,
Yeah.
then
You
he
know.
stopped to those meetings because he was chasing a baddie.
Woman. Oh God.
Women, bro. After God, fear women.
Factors. But yeah, I guess I do see that. Like, there's a lot of, but it achieved what it set out to achieve, and that's really enough for me. I think it's going to have as much, if not more, impact on Dan Wolf of Wall Street, just not in the way that you're talking, like in the sense of like inspiring people to lead certain lives. Yeah, sure, Wolf of Wall Street would do that or did that. But in terms of like cultural relevancy, like I think it's going to stand the test of time. I think
No,
it was an
definitely.
instant. Yeah, I think it was a spectacle. I think I said this in my review. It was a spectacle. Like you had to be there to see, like you
Yeah.
had to witness it in the moment. But it's also like it's going to be a classic. 10 years down, we're still going to be talking about scenes and different scenes and Trinity Test, and the scene where he's holding his head because he just fumbled a baddie. And
Mhm,
like we're
mhm.
still, these memes are going to be
The
around.
head
I
loss, bro. Again, I really think we need to sign a petition to change this movie to Sloppenheimer because that is what happened. This movie was the spiraling of a man who lost his best eater. We saw honestly, you can if you close your eyes and
yeah.
angle your head, you can be like, this could be a rom-com.
Okay, bro. You have
Toss in a
put too
couple more
much.
jokes.
You have
Safdie
put
was
too
funny as
much.
hell. Safdie was funny as hell. But you
He's
can
always
toss in a
funny.
couple more jokes, and this is a rom-com.
You definitely we saw different movies. It
I'm
was,
joking.
it
I'm
was
joking. It's a reach. It's a reach. But I don't want to downplay the impact the emotional relationship had on Oppie.
yeah.
Yeah.
While we're still on the topic though of hating and Oppenheimer,
Mm-hmm.
you had talked to me about this tweet about the sex scene, and so I think let's talk about that
You want to dive into
because
that?
because I think some people are children. Lately we've been seeing this trend of people watching TikToks in cinema, or people taking phone calls so loudly because they can't just sit still for 2 hours. And I saw
Mm,
that video. Oh my goodness. I saw that video of the woman she caught her husband watching porn or something. And so
mm.
when they were in Oppenheimer, she made him like turn away, and like he put his head behind her on this for the sex scenes. For the 2 seconds that Flo Pugh flashed the titties on set, she made her husband turn so that he wouldn't get triggered. And so their marriage can last longer, because that's what their marriage is based on now at this point.
I think my opinion on that is that, especially that little thing happened in cinema with her turning her husband's head.
Yeah.
I don't know what is going on in that relationship, but truly, it is not my business.
Yeah.
Whatever demons he's fighting, that she has to do that. Again, it's not my business. But to piggyback off like the initial point, I really hate the fact that like people are like, what do sex scenes add to the plot? And I'm just like, why did everyone become so like anti-relationships and anti-sex? And I think it might not be just like everyone, but I think it's more so like our generation and stuff like that, and like maybe not our
Yeah.
generation, but a little bit of the younger ones and us,
Hmm.
because it's like the same way in The Bear when people were like, "Oh, I really don't want a relationship coming out of like Carmi and Sydney," and I'm like, "Bro, do you know how easy it is to fall in love with your coworker,
That one, I kind of agree though. I don't want a
especially
relationship
when
with
you're in
how.
like stressful situations and like you
Yeah,
are only spending time with each other.
with this
It is
person.
so
Yeah,
easy to like develop romantic feelings for someone that you are spending so much of your time with,
I agree.
unless they're like you're deeply incompatible or like deeply incompatible. And
Yeah.
yet I have seen many a man be involved with women that they are not compatible with at all. Absolutely insane behavior, but I have seen it.
Hmm.
But to like piggyback or like to redirect this back to like the initial thing, I don't think people are being honest. I think people are being very disingenuous with how much that scene like plays an impact. Because without that scene, you think she's just some random, slightly mysterious baddie that
Hmm.
Oppie's talking to, he
Hmm.
sees, blah, blah,
Hmm.
blah. But can you see mid stroke She gets up.
Mid-stroke.
Mid-stroke, she gets up. They're talking. I'm not trying to spoiler warning. Honestly, the
Bro,
movie's
we've
been
already
out.
spoke so much, right? The movie's
The
been out
movie's
for a
been
couple
out
months now.
for
If you haven't
two
seen it, that's
months
kind of
now,
on
or
you.
a month and
Yeah.
some change. Please go and watch it. But basically, that bloody scene where she gets up and they start talking mid-stroke, like, they just took a little break during sex. And one thing
Mm-hmm.
is that you don't really do that with just anyone. You don't just like start having conversations or making jokes like mid-stroke.
Mm-hmm.
There's a level of relationship that happens, and like, you become comfortable enough to do that. That's one.
Exactly. Exactly.
Two, she does one of the most unhinged things I've ever seen, which is get Sanskrits. I want religious text, bro. Can you hear me? The Nigerian needs to come out. I want religious text,
Mid-stroke is actually crazy. I never had a babe read the Bible to me. Wow.
bro. Mid-stroke, and she makes him read that. I did not know that's where the famous line came from.
Me too. I thought he
I
just
did
said
not
it.
know,
Yeah.
and I'm quite shocked. I can't lie.
Yeah.
I think that too would have locked me in.
Yeah. I think you raise a good point when you're not able to, sure, if they have sex off screen, the point is, oh, they had sex. And if they have sex on screen, they have sex. But the difference is we're able to see the nuances in their relationship, just like you're saying, there has to be a certain level of closeness for you to just get up at that point and get religious script for him to read mid-stroke. The sex scenes just help, like it's a visual aid, but
It
it's more
helps
important than a visual
explain
aid.
the
It's not showing us
dynamic.
exactly. It just helps explain the dynamic. And then that scene particularly was important for me because it sets up the now I'm become death, destroyer of
Yeah,
worlds. It sets that up because, you know, sure, we always knew we are going to hear him utter those lines, and it made most sense for it to come, after the bomb has exploded, hence the Trinity test. But getting that soft launched in there provides more context and more color around it. Because if that scene wasn't included, I would just think Uppy came up with those words
and again, it's
after
also
the
like
bomb went off.
yeah. If that
Yeah,
scene gave like a prelude to like what
exactly.
happened later on, and again, it was such a memorable moment for him because
Hmm.
again, women do not typically make you read religious text like while they're writing. I'm sorry,
Exactly.
but like that's not really a normal experience.
Flashbulb memory right there. Core
Flashbulb
moment.
memory, bro.
Yeah.
Like what?
Oh, it's
So
very
I just
vital.
feel like in Oppenheimer and in many things, people don't want to let go of control.
Hmm.
So it's like, oh, I'd rather have this happen this way. I'd rather it happen
Yeah.
this way. But
Yeah.
to criticize and be like, oh, it's unnecessary. It didn't affect the story. I'm like, that is a lie. It's
It's complete.
quite a crazy
It's a
lie.
fallacy. Yeah.
Because I think we're under no illusion that people have sex, and like people have relationships. So if we just saw like Oppie spiral a little bit when she passed,
Hmm.
we understand like, okay, maybe they had like a special relationship. But
Hmm.
seeing like the different facets, and I told you this, I made a joke about how like when she was like, "Oh, leave me alone, I don't want any fucking flowers." Then he's like, "Then why do you keep calling me?" And I, bro, I can only laugh. I can only laugh because
Yeah.
my guy is confused. If you have, one of the greatest physicists of our generation confused, or no, our generation of the world confused.
Hmm.
Who
Hmm.
am I?
I'm just a man,
I'm
please.
just a man. Yeah, and I just think like relationships are like no matter what level you are, relationships will
Mhm.
always have like a deep hold on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think to close out this segment, because we're like 35 now. I think people just need to grow up. That's why I started off by saying people are children and
Mhm.
understand that. I think you said this, or maybe you were going to say it, but like watch more movies. That's a thing, that's Alamo Drafts. I was actually a thing, but it's important to
Mhm.
just watch more movies because any scene, any shot, literally any take, anything that makes it to the final shot or final cut of a movie has gone through so many rounds of editing. So to say any scene at all is not important to the plot is so immature, it's so childish, and it's like you don't understand that there have been various rounds of editing that have gone into the making of this, and scenes have been cut, like shots have been retaken, and things have been edited. It's all intentional to make it to the final cut of literally any movie. So saying like a sex scene is not important, or the shot of her titties or whatever wasn't important to the movie, it's exactly the same as saying this wide shot of the horizon in the distance in the plains of the Sahara is not important. The story can still go on without it, but it's still adding color to the 90 minutes or the 120 minutes that you're spending, watching that art. So it's all important. It's the same thing. You can't cut out any scene just because you feel like the plot would have been the same without it. It's still adding color. So
okay, so this is where I am with that. I think one, it's very reductive to like look at someone's art and be like, oh well, I would take this out. Like with the Mona Lisa, would you like, oh well, like I would like cut out her smile a little bit, or like, oh,
yeah.
I would change her nose. Like it's kind of weird to say things like that because it's truly someone's art you are viewing. It's okay to not agree, it's okay to not like it, but to say I have a better idea of what could be done is kind of weird. Just experience what they're trying to deliver. Again, you don't have to like it, but it's very reductive to be like, oh well, they could have done without this. Nobody cares about what your opinion is on that. Like no one really needs your take. Like you're not funding it. I'm sorry. You're not funding it, and you are not the creator also. Even honestly, I don't even like when like production teams and like, the what's it called? The studios have as much of a say.
Yeah.
And just like, yes, you are the fan who is intended to experience it. Sometimes you're not even the fan. Sometimes you're not even the person that, the target market. I'm sorry.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's like when like you go to certain stores and you're seeing like a shirt for like $5,000 to $6,000. I'm not the target
That's so
market, so
expensive. Like,
I'm not
bro,
going to
this
be
is not for
offended.
you.
It is not for me. I've seen it. It's not my mind. It's not for me. I wouldn't say, oh, I wish they changed the price. Clearly, I'm not the target market.
You're spitting.
But yeah, we're cool. We're cool.
Okay.
I know
Do we
you
want
have
to
to
talk
head
about?
out.
Do we want to talk now? Do you want to talk about Barbie?
Yeah, of course you want to talk about Barbie.
And so for the other side of the pond, which let me say, I hated that term, Barbenheimer, Barbenheimer.
Yeah.
I think that was a monstrosity, but at the same time, I'm very grateful for the payoff, because there's a good chance Uppy might hit $1 billion. Barbie's already shattered so many records,
every fucking record.
many records, and so I'm grateful that it contributed to both being widely critically acclaimed and everyone enjoying them. At the same time, hate that term, hate that the pictures where they would like it would be half of Margot Robbie's face and then half of Cillian Murphy, and it's like Cillian Murphy.
That was a bit weird, but I think one of my favorite ones was like was that edit with Cillian Murphy carrying Barbie on his shoulder, and there's like the mushroom cloud in the back.
Bro, come on, like let's be for real here.
Yeah.
But Barbie, I said this to, I think I was having a conversation with you when you were in New York, and someone said it was a coming of age film, and I disagreed initially because
It was
I'm like
me.
this.
It was me.
Yeah,
I
and I'm
said
like,
it was a coming of age.
I did not even like peep it at that. I felt more it was in line with films like Beau is Afraid, or somewhat like The Truman Show, or all these movies where you're going out of a world, or you're just having to go through the various experiences. But in hindsight, it is like it's a true coming of age, which is also in line with Greta Gerwig's filmography. Lady Bird,
bar for bar,
Little
bar
Women.
for bar.
So it is a coming of age. I think I've seen the conversation about her being a sellout. By sellout, I mean Greta. Because this is an indie, this is WB backed. And I accept that because I'm a strong proponent of indies. I think we need to protect independent cinema. That's why when we're talking about Neon, I was very excited. So I want the really good directors that are working with indies to stay working with indies. I appreciate that. But at the same time, she was offered an opportunity to do something that could set a precedent with this, which is make many more really good movies for women by women. you know,
Exactly.
which I don't think Warner Brothers is taking that message. I don't think they're taking that story. I think they're thinking people want nostalgia about toys they played with as kids, and so they're going to
Oh,
make a
you're
whole.
talking about how Mattel is doing like some cinematic universe thing right now.
Yeah, I think
They
people are taking
missed
the
the
wrong
message.
message from this. Yeah,
Missed the
so
message crazy.
for me, that's why I liked Barbie. I think it's for everything that it represents, and for the the potential for us to get more original stories by women and for women. Why I did not like Barbie?
Mm.
I also shared this with you. America. So not the country, not the
Okay.
country.
Okay.
America Ferrera. No, she played the mom, you know the not co-lead, but one of the supporting. She's the mom of the little girl. She had the original Barbie, and all of that.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember that.
I felt like she was out of place for a lot of it, for a lot of the runtime, because you have like Margot, Ryan Gosling, Issa Rae, you have all these funny people, Michael Cera, Will Ferrell, who are like every line of delivery is somewhat like comedic, or like there's some satire in their voice when they're just delivering regular dialogue because they're funny people. And then every time America spoke, it wasn't delivered the same in the same like comedic way, which I'm like, this is weird because this is a light-hearted movie, but everything she's saying just sounds like a mom. But then like we get to her monologue, which I really, really did love. I was cracking up when they made the whole Godfather thing. But we get to her monologue, and like I understand why she was cast in this, and it turns out okay, it's a perfect casting. So I still don't like her for most of the runtime. I still
Mm.
think there could have been a better blend, a better mix of her mom roles and her motherly tone with the whole just comedy or light heart that the movie has. But I get it because of the monologue. That was very impactful. So, yeah.
I think I can't sit on America for because I don't know. Ugly Betty always will have like a special place in my heart. Dude, I'm not going to lie. It
Yeah.
always will.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess like we're kind of showing our age right now, but like when we're being young and watching Ugly Betty, it was just like it was kind of fun. It was a fun time.
Yeah.
And the way you're talking about like, oh, she wasn't that funny. I mean, like I feel like her role didn't require her to be that
To be
funny.
funny, I get
I
that.
think
Yeah.
some of the best humor is really displayed by a lot of the side characters. Not even, oh my god, no. I'm so sorry because that line from Barbie where she's crying and she's
I
like,
should like. How could you
yeah,
say
she
I'm a
called me a
fascist?
fascist. I don't control like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't control like the flow of commerce and the trades. I
Yeah.
was like, damn, that's a great fucking joke.
That was
That was
funny.
a great fucking joke. But I think quite honestly, her role just it kind of gave what it was meant to give.
Yeah.
On the other side of you, I kind of hate kids that have teenage angst, and I hate when that's displayed in movies because I know
What?
it's real. I know it's real. I know it's real, but I hate it. I hate when kids are like,
Is there a reason why?
"What are you saying?"
Is there a reason why you hate that? Because there's so many very good movies that are all about teenage angst,
Oh,
bro.
100%, 100%. Even Lady Bird had that little teenage angst
Exactly. That was what I was
vibe.
going to go to.
And like I had a great time in Lady Bird, but like at the same
Mm-hmm.
time, like I you can't. I think maybe it's just my personality type to like see those experiences and be like, I genuinely can't relate, and I just feel like they're being so inconsiderate. And I think maybe that's because like I can't relate. Maybe because I was never a kid like that.
I see. I see. I see.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's just like for me, it's like I think it's okay to say this, but kids can be little dickheads. They can be really
Facts.
fucking. They can be really fucking dickheads, and we don't really acknowledge that, and we just like cast it off like this is normal. This teenage angst, blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
You can raise. There's so many people that were raised as like considerate kids. There's so many people. It's not the standard that your kid has to be a dickhead.
Mm-hmm.
So that little scene where like, you know how wild it is. Again, an adult, big adult, comes up to you just to like kind of talk, and like you
Yeah.
start like ripping into her
Roasting them for
insane
nothing.
roast for nothing, bro. And that's
Wow.
not even the craziest one. What's crazier is that some other girl had to like stop her and warn her.
Yeah.
Like she's known, you know? If you want to fuck up your day, go up to her. What?
Yeah.
And like just the way she like spoke to her mother, the way she like treated the situation until randomly towards the end, she switched up, and I respect it. Maybe, and I have the right to acknowledge that maybe I'm not showing the most amount of kindness towards the situation, and like most being as understanding as I could be when it
Yeah.
comes to like children, because they are children, they are little humans. I understand, but for me, it just felt like people have so much already going for her, for them, and like
Yeah.
children sometimes cannot and just like not consider it. Just
I
quite
agree.
honestly, I understand like sometimes, how can a child be considerate? I'm like, well, there are kids who do it, like, yeah, but let me not run into like some other ethics or like
Yeah,
But I
let's keep
love
it like
Barbie.
that. I love
Fun
Barbie
fucking
too.
time for me. I am Kenough merch. I do have that.
I was about to cop the hoodie he wore.
Yeah,
This
hundred
is like,
percent.
could have.
I'm a crew neck guy, so like I
Yeah.
bought a t-shirt, couldn't find a hoodie, but I'm ready. I'm ready to show the world that I am Kenough.
Ryan Gosling he did his thing. He did what he had to do. I don't know why. I don't want him to win an Oscar for that. I've been seeing a lot of supporting actor shot. No, please, let's be for real. But he did his thing, and he was actually really good. And it's just crazy. I think I said this before on one of the earlier episodes. But people saying why would they cast Ryan Gosling was so mind blowing to me because look, have you seen this man's film? Have you seen him in anything? Literally, like he has a wide
Yeah,
range, and he's so good in
his
everything. So it's
filmography
like
is stacked.
I don't know why anyone would think that,
Let's forget
but
about Gray Man though. Let's forget about that Gray Man
I like
thing.
how when people say his filmography, they don't even mention that part. They're just
Yeah,
like we all just collectively count that out.
let's push that to the side. But his filmography is stacked. I'm going to be honest.
Okay.
Question now, and
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I know what you're gonna be. So there's arguments about the song, best original
Oh.
song, and we know it needs to go to Barbie. I'm not going to lie. They will surprise us maybe and give it to Hans Zimmer. But that's just a legacy shout out to normals. But if they're being honest, who would you give it to?
Best original
What?
song.
Yeah. What was I made for? Or I'm just Ken.
So I was talking like when the day the soundtrack dropped, I was with someone and we listened to it and I did like a ranking or whatever of the album. And what was I made for was my number one. I'm just Ken was my number two. This was before we had seen the movie because the
Yeah.
soundtrack came out before, and I'm
Yeah.
like, these are going to be pivotal to the movie, and they were. Well, I'm a Billie Eilish fan. I'm not ashamed to admit that on the podcast. And what was I made for was so heartbreaking in the way that it's used in the film. But outside of that, it's a good song on its own. I listened to it on its own. I listened to it on its once. I've seen the music video. Like it's a song that can stand on its own and it's a song that plays so well into the movie. Like that scene, come on, man. Like her reaching out her hands, into the old Barbie, going into the real world. It's just like that song displays existentialism more than anything else could have. But at the same time, I'm Just Ken is also a song about like Ken having an existential crisis. So it's like that is also important. The difference for me is I'm Just Ken doesn't stand well on its own. Outside of the
Really?
movie, it
I
doesn't stand well on
disagree.
its own
I
outside of the
think.
movie. I don't think it does because they have the
Okay.
whole choreography which plays
Okay.
into it. Like all
That is
the
fair.
dancing and like the hook and all of that. Like I'm not going to be on my ones on the driving down, I-95 and I don't I'm just Ken. But I've done that with What Was I Made For. The only thing is Billy
Are you okay,
won.
bro?
Billy has won. What?
Are you okay, bro?
I'm okay, bro. I'm good.
Are you sure you're good, bro?
I'm good, bro. The only thing is Billy won for No Time to Die. And then I guess Not to won last year, and then now again, I don't know if the Academy is very excited about giving people, back-to-back awards so soon, but she's my pick. There's a few others though, there's a song from Little Mermaid. There's a couple other songs. So,
Okay,
but
so I hear
Billy
what
is
you're
my early
saying,
pick.
and I need to change my mind because I did not think about it that way. Because you are right. I think I'm just Ken is not as good of a song on its own.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, you're talking about original screenplay
Song,
songs.
yeah,
So
original
it's
song for.
impact to the movie. And I can
Mm-hmm.
truly tell you, we can have the montage without, we can have the montage without, what's it called? The montage without What Was I Made For? Quite honestly. And the impact will be crazy. It would still be great.
I know, I agree.
But I think, and I need you to understand that I'm Just Ken is so true to the essence of the film. And I don't think it's simply about being Ken or being guys. I think it's more so about the other side of the message. Oh, wait, well, like one of the major messages about like Barbie is like, you're okay who you are.
Okay.
You're okay as you are.
Okay.
And I'm Just Ken really is like, you get me? Like it's really
Actually,
like,
going to use no, I don't. I'm going to use that point to counter you because
okay,
the essence of the film is not like just having like just whatever I'm Just Ken is preaching,
okay,
because again, it's dangerous because I'm Just Ken is talking about anywhere else I'll be a 10. Is this the life that was made for me? Like but the essence of the film, it's act like it has to center around Barbie. Whatever essence, whatever you're taking away from it, it has to center around
mm.
Barbie. And what was I made for is literally the whole entire movie. Like her
Yeah, the
discovering
existential
what is your
crisis and
point,
like, yeah,
what is there for her in this world. Like that is the truth. That's why it was chosen as the song as the
okay,
song for the montage. Like it couldn't have worked without that song. And it's the
fair.
closer, and you have
Okay,
this real
fair, fair. I
emotional.
hear what you're saying. I
Yeah.
I do I do want to talk about patriarchy though, because we can't really talk about Barbie without talking about patriarchy. You know this.
I don't want to talk about patriarchy.
You don't want to talk about. I feel like talking about
No,
patriarchy is a fun little time,
I
bro.
will not be cut this way. No.
You would not be
I'm
caught this way.
I'm on
Okay,
thin line with too many people in my life already.
I'm
So
screaming. Okay, I think one thing that I want to say is that I really hated the reception of Alan
okay.
because it's kind of the way that you know like being an Alan, the Barbies ignored him, and the guys ignored him, the Kens ignored him, and it just felt
Yeah.
very sad in the story. And I feel like, you know, especially with the guys ignoring him because his gender identity should like be more affirmed of them, but like not agreeing with like some of their like super masculine and patriarchal ideals made him alienated from the society and from the group, and you can kind of tell, like you can see that happening.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times, people like if your friends are like super, alpha male,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
the super patriarchal, downright sometimes, basically bad people, they will alienate you. Yeah. And it just felt very bad, like seeing like that experience for Alan in the story.
Yeah.
But I like that in the end he was like kind of redeemed, like his character was
Yeah.
kind of redeemed.
Mm-hmm.
It
Mm-hmm.
was good.
I'm a big Michael Cera fan. I see him, I watch and I enjoy it. I'm a very
I get
simple
that.
man in that
I
way.
think for
So
you, I remember when I first like watched it and we talked, I was like,
mm-hmm.
it was like literally on the walk back. I was like, yeah, I didn't really like Alan's character. I didn't find it that
Yeah.
funny. And like
Yeah.
you were cracking up and like
Yeah.
having a ball.
Because I'm
But I
like,
think like what it came to for me is that I just kind of clocked that maybe when I see Michael Cera, I expect something more, or I'm trying to like figure out what's going on. But for you, you're like, I'm taking this guy as he is, and I'm having a fun
exactly.
time.
He has not given me reason over the course of his career to expect more. It's like Steve Carell, for example, if I see him in literally anything, I know, or Jim Carrey, like they haven't given me reason. And then when they do, which Steve Carell has, oftentimes, or Jim Carrey also has, I'm like, oh, pleasantly surprised because I was not expecting this at all. I go into these knowing what to expect, and then when I see what Ryan Reynolds too, that's another example. I already know what I'm getting. I know what I'm going for, and then he delivers every time. And then
Yeah.
if he does something different, like if he takes on a more serious role or a more profound, makes a really really good monologue or something, then I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't know he had that in his bag, but now I know and I enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the very next scene, he goes back to being him, and I'm like, okay, I appreciate this too. So, but I think we're almost at time, so let's just close this out with, what are you most looking forward to? Dune's been cancelled. We got three trailers.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Dune has been cancelled.
Or postponed rather. We got three trailers dropped this week. and a couple more are coming. So, what are you most looking forward to this year for the rest of the year?
Okay. I'm looking for a girlfriend so we can go watch Bottoms together. I feel like that would be a fun fucking time. So if you know anyone, lean into it. Really dive in and hook me up so I can have someone to watch Bottoms with.
Okay.
Looks like a fun time. Want to watch Ferrari. I'm going to watch Ferrari. It's a shame that it
Okay.
comes out on Christmas, but I think my family might have to take the L.
That's so funny. Screw the family. I'm going to the theater. That's crazy.
I'm going to go watch Ferrari. It's okay. So I think ideally it is Bottoms then Ferrari that I'm looking forward to. What about you?
I'm going to say two serious ones and then one not so serious. So obviously the killer, that I think that even goes without saying. Fincher's return, Fassbender, and it's just so many parallels with like stuff that he's done. Like he took like his inspiration was himself, bro. That's so bad. I just saw him at the New York Film Festival, or Tribeca rather, and that was an amazing time. Like just getting to hear him talk about his process and everything. Number two, obviously, Killers of the Flower Moon. Well, that's even number one that I'm still looking forward to, and that goes without saying. I do think though people are setting expectations way too high. I've been seeing talk about Oppenheimer making $1 billion, sets the room for Killers of the Flower Moon to run, and I'm like, that tweet about film bros will make you watch a film, a black and white film set in Eastern Romania, set through the eyes of a pigeon. This is that. Killers of the Flower Moon is that film that people are talking about. It's 3.5 hours, bro. It's 30 longer than Oppenheimer already, which was really, really long. And people said that they couldn't sit through it because of how long it was. Obviously, we don't have intermission. It's a slow burn. It's a slow burn. It's not just any slow burn. It's a Scorsese slow burn. I don't know why we think like he should take his 275 million global gross and go to Apple TV, bro. Like, I'm not getting excited. You can't fool me. Oppenheimer is riding off of people really wanting to see it in the IMAX. People really wanting to see multiple times to catch things that they missed. The whole Barbie thing, the whole Nolan thing, and then the ensemble cast.
I think it's the Nolan thing and also Barbie's attachment. Double feature. Because I saw some people like literally still dressed in their pink and doing Oppenheimer. So I get.
So I think we're being too excited for that, but I'm looking forward to that. And then my not so serious one is Wonka, and I'm not going to explain too much on that. Just take it.
I was about to talk shit because I thought you didn't like that.
What? No, it has Timothée Chalamet.
Yeah, I know, but I thought like you didn't enjoy what it looked like.
I didn't enjoy the trailer. I didn't enjoy parts of the trailer because I was expecting something different.
I will lie. You called me and you were like, he's not like Will Ferrell.
Yeah, I said that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So his delivery is not like
he's not like a silly, goofy kind of guy.
He's not Tom Holland, is what I'm trying to say. Like I don't
think
he's
not Tom Holland. Yeah, that's it. Tom Holland is like the perfect casting.
He's not, that. But I was expecting him to have that in his bag. But he just wasn't given that. But what part of the reason why I'm very excited is I haven't seen his chemistry as much with the younger understudy. He's typically the younger understudy.
That's true.
We got to see a little bit of that in Bones and All, but that wasn't much younger. Like they were romantically involved. She was just younger than him, and he led her into the world of cannibalism or whatnot. This is the first time. This is the first time that I'm actually getting to see him in like with the proper understudy, and he has insanely good chemistry with the little kid. So, those are my three, and the year is just so stacked.
The year is stacked.
Taking Dune out, and it's still a stacked year is so crazy. So,
I'm just excited to see where it takes us. Napoleon is coming out also, which is like a great time. I do want to say to leave you guys off with something to watch. I'm currently trying Warrior on HBO Max. It's not bad. Okay. I love Hijack on Apple TV. Ooh. That was a great one.
Cool sign.
Don't be like my coworker who watched it on a flight. Please.
Bro, that's hilarious.
Insane, because he was in Ireland and he was coming back to America, and he watched like the first episode on the flight. I was like, oh, okay.
Bro, watch snakes on a plane.
I don't know why you would do that to yourself. What else am I watching recently? Animated things. I tried like the Harley Quinn new season. It's not great.
Okay.
Maybe it's because like I've just not been in an animated thing kind of mood recently.
Yeah.
So that's possible. And on Hulu, oh my god, I don't think I have anything crazy on Hulu. Do you have anything crazy on Hulu?
No, I haven't seen anything on Hulu in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think my go-to Hulu thing. Oh, I'm also watching Domina, but that's on like MGM Plus, which is like,
Okay.
it's period piece, but like set in like Roman times, like Gaius Julius time. It's interesting stuff. I love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, you people have a lot to watch. Honestly, pick any aspect of this podcast, and we have probably mentioned like a movie or a film that you should watch. If you haven't watched Oppenheimer, please go watch it. The spoilers are very minimum. I tell you now, whatever spoilers we gave you is not going to affect the 3 hours of content
3
you will get
hours. We talked about it
from
for maybe
watching that
20
fucking
minutes.
movie.
Yeah, we're not
My
we didn't
God.
touch anything.
Yeah. And we didn't like say anything kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah. Also, I'm gonna watch Are You There, God? It's Margaret today.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
I'm excited because like I remember we had this discourse about like Ben Safdie finding his own niche.
Mm-hmm.
As like, I'm telling you, go watch Good Time.
I haven't seen
He's
that.
like a good weird guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's such a good weird guy.
I said it to someone too, but I'm like, I feel like he has to play like a silly little gay dude, but not like silly little and not gay. He can't be gay, right? He has to be straight in the role, but he's playing like a silly little gay dude. And he knocks it out the park. And it also has to be like a period, like a drama set in a different period.
Yeah, that's
but
what I was
not a
about to
period,
say.
but not a period drama. So
He
not
needs
like
his drama set in a different period role. Good Time, it's kind of different because he's mentally disabled. Yeah. So and he does
interesting.
He does.
I'm adding that to the watch list right now.
Yeah, I think it's on Netflix. So when I watched it, it was on Netflix.
I think it was Showtime. I think when you said that, I went and looked it up, and
it's him and Patterson. So
yeah, I'm not a big Patterson fan, so that explains why I haven't seen it.
Really?
But yeah, I'm not that big.
Yeah, I always knew you like taste. Sorry, broski. Ladies
Okay,
and
bro.
gentlemen, Steve likes taste. As we close out the pod.
Okay, bro. Sure.
We have been asking for a new episode. We are sorry that we haven't been able to oblige. And quite honestly, I'm actually surprised by the amounts of people that have been asking for a new episode.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm proud. I feel like we are growing pretty well. Same thing with like our socials. Follow us on Twitter, the Cinephiles Isle. Oh no, sorry, at Cinephiles Isle. Yeah, I don't think there's a V in front of it.
Same at for Instagram as well. Same for YouTube. Cinephiles Isle podcast.
Honestly, if you have any, DM us if you have any ideas. Quite honestly, we like interaction, we like engagement. DM us if you have any ideas or if you want to be on an episode. We should be having a guest for you next episode, honestly. So that's gonna be a fun time.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yes, sir. So
keep an eye out.
We are keeping an eye. Also, send us your letterbox. Let us either, because I want to roast people's letterboxes. Because sometimes I see some things and I'm like, what are you watching? And what are you documenting that you're watching? You're not ashamed.
Bro, that's me. I would watch anything. Especially when...
No, I'm okay with watching it, but hide it from the world. Don't put it in your letterbox. We can all see your letterbox.
Oh my God. Yeah. Reach out to us via DM, or there's a way to, in the bio, the description of this episode, there's contact information and a way to leave us a message. So reach out. We'll be looking forward to that.
Yeah, we love the interaction with you guys. Okay. So shout out to you guys. Hope you guys have a great day. Okay. We're heading out.
Okay. Hope you enjoyed the pod. See you later.